Hi, thanks for checking out another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. Hope you're having a good night tonight. Just got done walking my dog and I was thinking about what should I make a video about. And I'm going to call this one Good versus Evil. So it's something I think about on a daily basis. I think my whole life about good versus evil. I was raised up Catholic, Roman Catholic, and not that was predominant in my household that we talked about a lot, but it was just something, I don't know, it's just been on my mind all the time. And then when, every day, you see things and you talk to people, and then, you know, mankind's fallen, and we look at each other, and everybody says, you, you, you like project what you're thinking on them, and we have a mirror image of each other, and we don't really see each other how we all are. We just see what we think everybody else is like, and can be disconcerting, um, especially when other people haven't done the self work, and then they look at you and then project on something evil on you, and then you're not having a good conversation, or a good perception of that other person, and that can happen. um, when I was walking my dog, I was thinking about my this story I read, like 35 years ago, 30 years ago, a long time ago. I believe it was by Isaac Asimov, and he wrote this short story in Astounding Magazine about these like a robots, I believe, that he raised up, and he put all the best qualities in them, and these robots, and they were super intelligent. But then the robots kind of escaped, and somebody said to him, "How long do how do?" He said, I made these robots like gods, like they're like really perfect. They're good. They're kind. They're gonna help out people." And so somebody said to him, "How long do you think the robots are gonna make it out there on their own?" He says, "I give them a few months." And they said, "Why do you give them a few months?" He says, "Because people hate other people that are good. They're gonna destroy them." And that's what the story was about. The story was about how people get jealous, and they rip other people down all the time. And it's true. Like, I had something that occurred in my life in 2010, and I'm not proud of it, and then I'm being, very introspective. I've always been an introspective guy, but when this occurred, it was like not a good thing, and I ended up, and no, I'm not going to tell you what it was. So I ended up really looking into myself a lot, and then it was like this. It was a cascade of events that all happened all at once. It was a trigger. I was triggered, and the trigger was to look in at myself. It's weird. Like, people get, you have these. Not every, maybe everybody does. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a star seed. I've heard that, that before, a star seed trait. But there's something within you that gets, like, triggered. There's a trigger, and once that switch goes off, one of the things I can remember is there was a hurricane that happened, and when that hurricane happened, it felt like it was like the end of the world. So the end of the world scenario like played out in my head. I said, well, if it's really like the end of the world, then I have to do this one more thing. And that one more thing led to another thing, which led to another thing, which was my trigger, which ended up, it was really a cascade of events. And the reason I'm mentioning good versus evil is that it made me really look inside myself a lot more. I mean, I'm always been introspective. I worked in the psychology field, but when I saw that and remembered, it was when I was 6, I saw this, shadow being, and then it was trying to possess me, and then I pushed it off with God's help, and then a voice I heard say, "You're the chosen one." So it like, and I forgot, I buried it because it was trauma. It was such a bad trauma that made me, wig out. But then I had that trigger, and then I remembered all at once that happened. So then I ended up thinking about that all the time, and then I ended up reading the Bible a lot, because what does that mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And it was like a cascade of events that, like, it all like funneled down, and then it exploded, and then very, very interesting. Like, it was like, it's like designed. It's like those dominoes. You set those dominoes up, and you just you just go that one domino, and you go, eh, and then all like, and it hits other things, and then all those things fall out. Well, that's what maybe something I'm saying makes sense to you in your life, I hope. I don't like to share, these are real personal things, but I wanted you to know, like, I'm real. What I'm saying is real. When I'm in front of you, I'm not being fake. I'm being real. Like, and I know a lot of people have been, in the history of man, have been fake, fake this, fake spiritual guys, fake this. I'm not being fake. I'm being as 100% real as I can be. But the thing about being holy, I said that before. When you're holy, you're not fragmented. Your personality is not fragmented. You're capturing more of who you really are. Capturing more of ourself is turning towards goodness and purity, because we are, at heart, you're a good person. You who's watching this, you're good. You just have to understand that, and then realize it, and then I remember I said I have to be like I was when I was 6, or when I was 8 years old. That innocence, that is who I really am. Not this whole adult personality that built up, that so sophisticated. No, I'm that 8-year-old. I'm that 6-year-old. I'm that I'm that good person. I'm not the other way. And when you realize that, how you really are, is good. Then, when you realize that, and you're there in the moment of now, then you could bring that forward, and then be so grateful and humble around other people, because you're it's like you're so humble to be alive with the other person. Like, oh my gosh, you just feel that humbleness. It just, like Jesus said, the meek will inherit the earth. Well, how much can you inherit when you take that, when you look inward and you hit that point, and you're going, like, to be at the throne of God, to be at that level. If you have, like, wickedness in you, you're gonna die. You're just gonna explode. You can't do it. And, like, it was a couple weeks ago. What was it? A week ago? I said, I prayed. I said, God, I just want to be more holy now. And when I prayed on that, God, certainly, that's a fair thing to ask, and God hears your prayers when you ask for something like that. And it's like the dial gets turned up, and it got turned up, your introspective factor of how you look at yourself. And I felt like, you start feeling more like, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, and it, like, screws with your head a lot. Not that really I'm not good enough, but you look at, sins, and any sin, it's like, you get to a point, well, like, if you told a lie, you would just stay up at night, all night, think about it. I have to go tell the person I lied. I can't live with myself with that, on my conscience. Like, if you go, a day, without telling a lie. And then you could go to another day without telling a lie. Then you're like, oh, I have 2 days built up. And then you go to another day, 3 days. Well, if you go to a month and then something happens in your life and they like, how's it really? I mean, they're asking you a question and it's going to help you in your life if you paint it a different way, a situation, like if you got pulled over and the officer would say, I'm just making up something, but he would say, hey, have you been drinking? Or something like that. And then you did, but you can get away with it if you say, no, I didn't, and then if you lie, then you get out of the ticket. But if you tell the truth, then you're in trouble. Those are the tests. Like, those are the tests. So you say, no, or you say, yes, I have been drinking. Then you get in trouble. And then you get that big ticket. And then maybe you go to jail and all these other things. But you have to, it's grasping more of who you are, and then knowing the repercussions of what you did is moving forward, and that's what it's all about, being who you are now with the rest of your life. Like Jesus, he would heal somebody, and then he would say, go forth and sin no more. I mean, and they were like, oh, okay. From now on, for the rest of my life, I'm not going to do any more sins. Like, that's so powerful. If anybody's watched his video, if you would do that, that would be amazing. Like the last video I talked about was about drinking and how, stopping that. But to stop sins in your life, like to really be cognizant of that and like to move that away from you. Now, I do these videos and I get a lot of people hating me, and I understand, everybody's used to everybody being fake on these videos and just not being who they really are. And here I'm talking about being good versus evil. It's when we see the not being good in ourselves is when you could be better. People hate Jesus. They hate him. So jealous. They're jealous. They get angry. They get upset. It's a swear word. It's named for a lot of people. Oh, Jesus Christ. They get angry. Jews, all different religions, they say, yeah, Jesus Christ. They hurt themselves. For a reason. One of the things is that his name, is so powerful, that's an intercession between you and evil is Jesus Christ. He's there in between. It's just the way it is. It's not like it's not my opinion. It's a fact. It's like, the sky's blue, clouds are white, Jesus is in between. That's the mediator. That's just the way it is. You don't have, it's the truth. It's not a belief, it's the truth. So what I'm saying is that people get angry, with Jesus, with someone that comes in front of them and says to be good, good versus evil. You get upset because you want to disconnect from that. That's why a lot of people drink, a lot of people smoke, a lot of people are doing drugs because they just can't abide themselves. They just can't, be in their own skin. They want to be separate. You want distraction. You want movies. You want, videos. You want this. You want that. You want entertainment. So you're distracted from your life. A lot of people say that, oh, it's such a, why they say, I like skydiving. Oh, why do you skydive so much? Because for one moment in my life, they go, I'm not thinking about myself. Well, maybe you could think more about yourself once you come to grips with who you are and how you are, and confront your sins, accept Jesus as the intercessor, and then, move forward, That's what we need to do as society, as a whole, as you, as me, as all of us. We have to confront the evil that's in all of us. And that's, so important. And then, people are trying to be cool, or they're going to be like, oh, I love being evil, and I'm a, like Lucian. I had a guy on Facebook, a friend of me, I said his name's Lucian. And then I could tell, when I start talking to people right away, angry with me. Ooh, angry. They start getting angrier and angrier the more I talk to them. It's just the way I am. It's my vibration. They get angry. And I say, you know what? Usually when somebody meets me in real life, on Facebook, whatever, if they start getting angry with me right away and hate me, I say, it's not me, it's you. I said to him, I'm trying to feel his energy, and I said, you know what? You're a Luciferian, aren't you? He said, what gave it away? Because his name was Lucian. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about it. He said, that's my name on Facebook. But he was like really angry with, and you could feel that it's like a palpable evil that's, coming in. I'm like, oh, I only get that from people that are really like evil, like hate God. I get that. You get that vibe, and then that vibe is just like, and then you bring Jesus into the picture, and then it changes that vibe. So what I'm saying is, I was talking about how Jesus was, the good aspect, and then having that rejection of sin and turning away from that and turning towards God. That's what it's all about. I mean, what are we doing out here? What is a real, I see these other supposed spiritual teachers. I watched, thousands of videos. Rarely, if ever, do they talk about good versus evil in general. And I'm talking about this from my heart. I'm telling you the truth. Like, you have the ability now to do this, to reject sin and turn towards Christ and turn towards God. You could do that now. It's not too late, But like for people that's like they want to embrace evil, and they think, oh, you're so this, you're so that, you think you're all this. When they came to, Jesus and they asked him, somebody said, oh, he said, what? He said, why do you call me good? He said, the only one that's good is God. And then you go, what? Wait, what? Then, somebody said, maybe you should say, no, but you're God, But they didn't say that. But what Jesus was saying is, the more you're aware, of how evil you are inside, the more you could be good. Like if the more, like, I think about Keanu Reeves, like the more, he lost, it was horrible. He lost his child and his wife and all these things, bad things happen. But then now he's so super sensitive, in his life to other, people's situations. I heard he gave a lot of money to, a children's hospital. God bless him. That's great. It's a great example for everybody else, and it's wonderful. But what I'm saying is that, we have these things happen negative to us. And then, it's us to turn it around and make these things, positive, and not be the victim, but the victor. So I like saying that my name's Victor. It really is. And I think about that. You have to turn around these things. And, the suffering is for a reason, and then I saw somebody's post. They said, oh, you're not suffering for a reason, you're just suffering. I don't think that's the case. I think this is all, for an ultimate reason, and we have to better ourselves. Even one little thing that we do to help each other is so important for ourselves and everyone else. Because if one of us moves a step forward, it raises up, the consciousness for everybody else. I do believe that. And like that Luciferian I was talking about, I said right away, I said, I don't, he was like, oh, you think you're so good? I said, I don't think that at all. At all. I think my interaction with you, I feel like it's an honor. It's like a privilege to talk to you. To be in front of you now is an honor. To bring you this information, and then for other people, to jump on me and be negative. It's if you're being triggered by any of this and you're feeling like angry or upset, that's a negative vibrational being in you or spirit or something that's doing that, and you have to get rid of that, because there's nothing I said during this video that should trigger you in a negative way. Like, there's not. The only reason is that you're looking inward and not seeing what you like there, and you have to, and then you want to lash out. That I could see, and that makes sense, and that's the way it is. That's what I'm talking about. So when we see somebody's, there's duality. We have this positive, and negative. That's the way people look at things all the time. They look at, positive and negative. And somebody says, oh, I have this nice car. And people, say, well, he must have ripped off somebody to get it. It's whatever's out there in the world. People say, think the opposite. It's just the dualistic nature and the mindset of before you have to, you have to rise above that dualistic mindset. We have these two hemispheres in our brains, left brain and right brain. When you get them working together, then you rise above these things. Anyway, I talked for 22 minutes and 22 seconds already. It's been a privilege and honor to speak to you this evening. I hope I said something that resonates with you, that helps you to turn your life around, to be more positive. I really want to talk about a lot of other things too, but this was just the one thing tonight that was pressing on my mind that I thought to talk to you about. Good versus evil. And yeah, it's not a day goes by I don't think about it. Good versus evil. A lot of us think about it all the time. I think we say, are we good? Are we evil? I'd love to share with you another story that's really, really special about how I ended up knowing if a thought is good or if it's evil. So that once you get to that point when you're doing energy work, not to sound vague, but when you meditate and you do all these things, and then you get to a certain point where you get to, when you understand the vibration of the truth, the spirit of truth in Jesus, and then you confront it all the time, and and then if something's evil or something's good, and there's a way to tell. There's a way to tell. It's so exciting, and I'm going to talk to you about that maybe in another video, about how you can actually know if something's good or if something's bad. But one of the things that's exciting about it is that you just have to do good to know, and then you have to not lie. You don't lie. You just don't lie. You just go through every word that comes out of your mouth. It's so important. Just don't lie. Don't lie. And then you go to the next day and you just keep doing it and keep doing it. Everything, and then they say, oh, I did this way. Oh, I did that way. And be who you are, now, because this is your life, now, and then all of a sudden you look and you're gonna, the colors turn brighter and you're like, wait, when you get to that point, you're like, oh, wait, I'm really real and this is real. And I'm being myself in my world. And then, and I see these fragmented people and fragmented realities. And, people don't have the consciousness to focus, and their voices are talking in their heads to themselves, and they don't hear silence. It's all this, but it comes down to telling the truth. So work on that. That's what I'm saying to you. And we'll get more to the other parts. And then, like, I know people are gonna, message me. They say, "Oh, I always tell the truth." Do you? Do you? Are you really? Come on. Come on. Let's get real. I mean, I'm being real with you. Be real. Talk about this to yourself and know, you have to be who you really are. It just, I'm just trying to tell you, you get to this point and you go, I just want to just listen to what I'm saying. And I know people are going to say, "Oh yeah, I never lie." Oh yeah. You're lying to yourself, maybe not to others verbally, but you're lying to yourself about a lot of things. You're lying to yourself about a lot of things. You're feeding the media trough, You're feeding from that trough. When you can really see the spirit of truth, when you get one with that spirit of truth, then you'll see, oh wait, they lied to me about, I'll see, then you see lies around you, and then you're like, oh, like in that movie They Live, they put the glasses on and I can see, that's what I'm talking about. Your truth or glasses. I want you to wear your spirit of truth or glasses, who's blind and deaf but the messenger I send. That's what's in the Bible. Isaiah 42. Who's blind and deaf? You have to be blind and deaf to the lies, but see and hear the truth. That's what's in the Bible. That's what we're talking about. Is having eyes that see and ears that hear, and not eyes that see the lies and ears that hear falsehood. Okay? Did I say too much? Did I say enough? Think about how hard Stern Ends is. I listened to it a few times. He gets a little raunchy for me, really. Not when I was before BV, before Vic. It's AV after Vic. After I went through what I went through, and then you get to a point you're like, I can't listen to that. It's like pornography. But he's hilarious, right? But anyway, did I say enough? Did I say too much? Anyway, like, subscribe, share. If you felt something resonates with you, it can help somebody else. I really do value your time, so I try to get to the point really quickly. Hopefully you got something out of this. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Peace out. Love you. Bye-bye.